Happy Wednesday, I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jasmine Moyer. Welcome to EverTalk Live, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. for all things little happiness in Hollywood, pop culture, and positivity. And it is so good to have you back.
It's so good to be back.
You were missed.
I appreciate that. My goodness, what a great show you had yesterday.
I know. Erin Ziering was here with us yesterday co-hosting on her birthday.
Oh my goodness.
So special, but it was really nice to have her here. We had some great guests, but like I said, we're glad to have you back.
Oh, I appreciate that. She's so generous. I so appreciate her filling in for me. What an amazing show you guys had, huh?
Oh, yeah. We had a really, really good time. So, very excited because this is a conversation that is perfect for you today. Our guest is one of the best-selling authors of Limitless, How to Ignore Everybody, Carve Your Own Path, and Live Your Best Life. When success doesn't equal happiness, I need the two of you. We're excited to welcome Laura to the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey.
Hi. You first.
I'm so happy to be here. I started my day today by getting up and going for a run before my brain could come up with all the reasons why I shouldn't.
I love it. You're telepathic too. You already knew the question.
Yeah.
You knew the question, was able to provide the answer. That's awesome.
So we'd like to know, how do you stay woke besides just your morning routine? Is there anything that you do personally to stay balanced and feeling alive and aligned?
So I actually try to not think about staying balanced. I try to think about staying aligned. So what are the things I care about in life? What's going to make me really happy? And how do I spend more time doing that than worrying about how to keep everything else in check in very specific order and very specific balance?
I love the alignment, replacing hustle with alignment. So for you, what things keep you in alignment?
So I spent a lot of time in my life trying to pursue success as defined by everybody else, and I found that didn't really keep me in alignment. In fact, it kept me really working hard towards everybody else's ideas and everybody else's goals. And you can't be insatiably happy for or insatiably hungry for somebody else's goals. It's not going to make you happy. And so I really sat down one day and I said, well, is that really what I want? Do I want the brand new car? Do I want the brand new house? Or do I want to spend time doing the things that actually have meaning for me personally? And so I stay woke by just doing that, by being me, by going for what I like, by going for what I want.
Beautifully said. I think it was Tony Robbins who said, success without fulfillment is failure, and I couldn't agree more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Amen. Well, we look forward to continuing the conversation later in the show.
I'm excited to continue that conversation. And boy, some names on here I recognize. Amy Cuddy, of course. She had one of the best I guess the most popular TED Talks, and also Sean Acor, who sort of affiliated with the positive psychology movement. So very cool.
Wow, very cool. Live limitless. And I love the infinity symbol.
I know.
That really speaks to me. You know, one of my lucky numbers, 8.
Is it?
It is.
Yes,
it's
I love
lucky
that.
in Chinese, right? The never-ending symbol.
It's interesting you say that, because one of my favorite authors is Joel Goldsmith, and he used to sort of have this philosophy called the infinite way, and of course the symbol was, infinity sign. So it's interesting. Lots of serendipity here.
Lots of serendipity. Getting ready for Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Got to do a little special shout out. Laura was just mentioning really fulfilling what she needed to fill herself, not her own goals. So I'm really tapping into my feminine energy. And no, I am not a mom yet, but I do support #mom culture.
Yes,
okay?
I love that.
And so they sent me some wine, and I just love this. It says, raising tiny humans is exhausting. Of course, you might recognize I'm using their happy cup as well. Coffee, wine, two things that every mom, well, really every woman needs.
True.
And on the back of this label, being that I'm in the wine business, I thought this was so funny. It said right here, what does it say? If you're looking at this label hoping to learn more about aromas and flavors of tropical fruits and citrus, how all the winos do, you won't find it here. It says there is a balance between light oak and vanilla. We have no clue.
Oh my goodness.
Love that. Own that. Our goal with this wine is to share some humor and put a smile on your face and hopefully bring a little relaxation to your hectic day.
I like that.
Please enjoy. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, so wine doesn't take itself so seriously.
It's not trying to be anything but
just
a good time, a little appreciation and self-love. So we're very grateful for that.
I love that. Jess, I will contest you on one point, and I think that you are very nurturing, and you're a mom. Even if you don't have formal kids, you are like one of the most nurturing people.
I am so mommy.
You are. You are. And even when you go into like mom mode, like your little Michigan accent comes out.
It does.
Right?
It
How
does.
funny is that?
My mother would be so proud of it. It's so
She
funny.
would be.
Because, Rob comes into the studio and he wasn't feeling well yesterday. And I said, I'm going to put you in the back seat of that car, call your mother, and I'm taking you to the doctor.
Exactly.
And I turned into my mother.
It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Sometimes we don't realize how deep like the parenting goes. It goes pretty deep. I mean,
real deep.
Yeah, I find that all day, every day. Like I'll hear my dad's voice, I hear my mom's voice, throughout the day, and it's comforting, I think, in lots of ways, right?
Do you ever find moments where you feel like I am my father?
Oh, totally. Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely.
Really?
I remember as a kid when I got hurt, it was always this thing he would say, oh, what were you doing? Were you doing something wrong? And usually probably I was, And as an adult, I've noticed the same thing. If I pull a muscle or something happens, I think, what was I doing that made that happen? And so I find that a little bit, if nothing else, it's an opportunity to like do it better next time. But I do find like little voices in my head, particularly my dad, in that way. My mom's a little different. But yeah, how about you?
Oh, absolutely. I get stressed out in the middle of the night. I start swiffering.
That's your coping mechanism?
Totally.
Swiffering? That's awesome. Yeah.
Totally. I have to start cleaning the floors, do some laundry if I'm feeling like I've lost control of my life. I have to clean everything.
Yeah. It's super cathartic though, isn't it?
Well, I don't know about that.
No? You don't feel better when you're done? I feel better when I'm done.
No, but it's a good distraction. It's a really good distraction. Well, and we want to give another special shout out to Nancy Davis.
Yes.
She was in the studio yesterday filming a very exciting episode. I'll share the guests later. But she gave me this cute
Oh, wow. I
pillow.
love that.
Peace and love.
We could all use more peace and love in our lives,
We all could use more peace
Yeah.
and love. She's just so kind. So thank you, Nancy. We really love you around
Super
here.
soft.
Right?
Yeah, super cool.
So I know what I'm doing Friday night, snuggling up with my pillow and some #mom culture wine.
Oh my gosh, it's like dating goals right there. The self-love.
Self-love.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so what tips do you have for us today, Rob?
What tips do I have today? Well, I'm not going to go in depth because we're going to talk to our fantastic guest today, Laura, about this more. But one of the articles I sort of happened upon over the last couple of days was an article written by a physicist where he did like this big sort of like data crunch, and he basically found like the formula for success. So he wrote a book called The Formula, and essentially what he found was, it's not a real surprise I think to most of us, but there are two ways to talk about success. One is in terms of performance. So, if you're an athlete especially, you know what it means to perform well. But sometimes in certain spaces, in certain industries or fields, performance isn't always like objectively measured. So like art, for instance, it's hard to measure what great performance really is. It's sort of more subjective than that. But there's performance on one hand, and then there's sort of larger context like success on the other, which is how well your performance is received, how well that book is received by the public, how well that album is received by your audience. And so, mostly his point, I think, was that it's not so much about always just performing well, though you definitely need the performance piece, but it's also about doing what you can to make sure that your performance is delivered in a way that your audience can receive. So there's more about that, and we'll share more over the couple days once I dive deeper into the actual book. But I thought it was kind of fascinating because one of the things that he found was that over age, like over time, you don't actually become less successful. The chances or likelihood of success doesn't go down. It's just that so many of us, sometimes we just stop sort of pursuing things as aggressively or assertively, which makes sense because maybe you're more selective about what you pursue.
Well, isn't that really interesting though? Because for me, being a perfectionist for so many years, I was so afraid that the older I got and the more off track I felt, that the chances of me succeeding was going down. Like I was running out of my luck.
Totally, it feels that way, and I think it especially feels like that in the entertainment business, right? You feel
absolutely.
like you're on a time crunch. But some of my favorite artists and musicians and entertainers, even someone like Louise Hay, she didn't become really successful until she was well into her 50s. And so I don't know. I think it's just an invitation for all of us to revisit some of these flawed premises or sort of false assumptions by which we live our lives, which is that we're going to be less successful as we get older or whatever.
Isn't that interesting? Or
It
less
is.
beautiful, or whatever that. And that was a big struggle for me too as a model. I thought I've got to hurry up and make it real quick because I'm only going to be pretty for so long.
Yeah, it's so true. I remember Eckhart Tolle saying something very interesting. He said, if you're sort of tapped in, tuned in, turned on, and you're being increasingly present in your life, he said that as you discover or feel that your physical beauty fades, there's an inner light that shines through in a much more magnificent way and makes you much more beautiful than you've ever been.
Well, hopefully that light is real bright. Because I'd like it to be a filter for this forever.
I know. I'm all about having the best of both worlds, physical beauty and the inner beauty too, right?
May it be limitless.
Indeed, indeed.
Well, stay tuned. We'll be back with more at EverTalk Live. On the red carpet of the Entertainment Studios Oscars Gala 2020, we are celebrating everyone's hard work here in Hollywood.
That's right. So excited. Cannot wait to see Byron Allen.
And making memories tonight, Maroon 5 is playing.
Oh my gosh, who doesn't love Maroon 5, right? Do you have a favorite song, Jess?
All the memories.
All the memories. Fair enough. Touche. Very nice.
What an honor to be here 4 years in a row. Beyond just the hardest working people here in Hollywood, what are you here celebrating tonight?
Children's Hospital, that's where we're celebrating. They do amazing work. My mother had me 17 days after her 17th birthday. She was a teenage mom. Unfortunately, I became very ill, and she took me to Children's Hospital. They didn't turn us away. They did amazing work with me and helped save me, and didn't charge us a penny, and they do that every day for children and families. Long before I got there, long after I've been there, and we can't do enough. All of us can't do enough to help Children's Hospital.
So, obviously, you're excited tonight, but we're honoring everyone's hard work in Hollywood. What are you celebrating tonight, beyond just the films?
Beyond just the films?
Yeah.
I'm celebrating the fact that we can do this for the 4th year, that it's for such a fabulous cause, and that we can continue to support Children's Hospital.
What are you most looking forward to in celebrating and honoring tonight, besides the awards?
Raising $2 million for Children's Hospital LA, #CHLA.
Love that. And why does that matter so much to you?
Because children are dear to my heart, children are important to Byron, and children are our future.
And I think community, obviously Children's Hospital is a big one, an opportunity to kind of, be out and celebrate.
But I do think we have to celebrate the way women have not just arrived, but speaking loudly and boldly. I think Little Women is a film that we hopefully will all be celebrating tonight. And I think where Joaquin Phoenix is standing for and potentially, winning with the Joker work that he's done.
And the other thing that I'm celebrating is inclusion. So I think this year is a year of inclusion, and Mr. Allen definitely represents that. So that's a big celebration for me.
Thank you for continuing the legacy, Byron. We appreciate it.
It's all of us, everybody here tonight. So we're very happy to support them.
So what do you do when success doesn't equal happiness? Become limitless. Our next guest is a best-selling author of Limitless, Laura Geisler. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
You're so beautiful and colorful today.
It's, it's a sunny day. There's no reason not to be colorful.
Absolutely.
Spot on brand, Sunshine. So tell us a little bit about your journey to mastering this for yourself.
Yes, so I spent 20 years doing executive search, and I interviewed thousands of people that are all in these massive moments of career change. And what I found, I was interviewing the most successful people, right? I was a headhunter. That's why I was talking to them. But they all wanted to talk to me because even though they were so successful, they weren't very happy. And I was fascinated by that difference, right? What if success doesn't equal happiness? So I started looking at the few that I interviewed who actually did have both. And I started thinking about what I did in my own life that led me to both have success and happiness. And what it really came down to was ignoring everybody else's definition of what success means. Because everyone else's definition of what success means is based on what it means for them, not what it means for us.
Oh, I just love that. And so much of that is programmed, right? It's conditioned. We receive these definitions of success that aren't really or never were our own. We try to make them our own, but of course it doesn't work out very well. So when a person wants to redefine success for themselves, where do they start?
Well, they start by, I say, screw the Joneses, right? Like ignore everybody else. Like all those people, your friends with their perfect Facebook photos of like the perfect kids and like the heart right over the sun and like throwing their kids in the, perfect, beautiful sunset photo.
It's practically everybody on Instagram now.
I was going to say, that's my whole feed.
Like, like they're the worst, right? Like them, they're terrible. And they're the ones that even if they're like wonderful, lovely human beings, they still make you feel terrible about yourself, even if they don't mean it. It's like these insidious, it's like a cancer that grows. And so I tell people, like, first of all, screw the Joneses, right? Yeah. And let's stop pursuing these unreachable goals of perfect work-life balance or I'll be happy when I get married, I'll be happy when I get divorced, I'll be happy when I lose 10 pounds. Like, let's be happy now, right? And I think it all comes down to that boho chic, perfectly beach wave beauty that's looking out over the sunset, and she's imploring us to follow our passion.
Yeah.
As if she's holding somebody's hand,
Right, exactly.
Oh, totally.
I know the picture very well.
So here's the question, like, why are we taking advice from girls in flower crowns anyway? It makes no sense.
Yeah. So there are some folks out there, and I know I was one of these people for a long time, and I felt very strongly like I wanted to do what I loved, and I wanted to do what I thought would make me happy, but I was so concerned that it wouldn't make me money.
Yes.
So how do you help people become convinced of that and work around that? How can they, sort of move from something that they're making maybe some money at, or at least having a consistent, stable income from, into something that they love but also make money at?
So the book is based around this idea of consonance, which everyone's like, what? Consonance? What does that mean? But we all know the word. We know dissonance. It's opposite, right? Where things aren't working out. It's like organ rejection. You're trying to do something that just doesn't work for you. So consonance is alignment. It's flow. It's when the what you do matches the who you are. And it's made up of several things. One of them is contribution. How does the work you do contribute to the life that you want to have, the lifestyle you want to live, the career trajectory you'd like, the values you want to manifest on a daily basis? So one of those things is obviously money. At different ages and at different life stages, we want and need different amounts of money. So when I was 22 years old and dropping out of law school to join a presidential campaign, I was more than happy to be paid in all the ramen soup I could eat and all the idealism I could stomach. Now I'm rounding 49. I'm a princess. I like to fly first class. I want to change the world. I want to help people's lives. But I also want to be comfortable on the 7-hour flight across country to do it. So it's really a matter of figuring out how much money do you want to make and what kind of life do you want to have? So if you want to have a certain lifestyle, how do you build a career that allows that? And we get it wrong because we think, I need to pursue purpose, as if purpose has to be higher purpose or lofty purpose. But if your purpose is that you want to cure cancer, go for it. But if your purpose is you want to buy the Maserati and the beach house, go for that. Yeah. I'm not here to purpose shame you, and we have to stop giving votes to people who shouldn't even have voices in our lives.
Such a good point.
Really interesting point, but I'm curious on that transition because, when you're in your 20s and you're eating the ramen and you're living your purpose and your passion, right? And then you hit your 30s and your 40s and you want that stability and you're craving that financial freedom for yourself, but you don't want to lose that fire, that passion, that purpose. What do you do?
So you figure out if there are careers you can have that will allow you to do it, right? So are you working in a space that is allowing you, say you want to cure cancer, right? Say that's your big thing. So you go to work for a nonprofit and you're not making a lot of money and you feel really good about the work you're doing, but you're also really uncomfortable because you're living in a rental house with 12 other people and you don't want to spend your 30s doing that. So maybe there are ways that you can make more money, and when you make more money in that job, you can actually donate to the nonprofit that's helping cure cancer. So there are ways that you can have purpose in your life that don't necessarily come from your vocation. There are lots of different, we spend a lot of time thinking there's work and there's life. And that's why I don't believe in work-life balance. I believe in work-life alignment. So you may have goals in your life that can be answered in your 9-to-5 job, or your 9-to-5 job may allow you to answer those goals in other ways as well.
And you mentioned your 9-to-5 in the corporate world and a little bit about lean in.
Oh, I hated lean in.
Let's talk about that. Yeah. Why did you hate it?
So I knew I was supposed to love it, right? I'm part of the army of women. Like, we're supposed to love lean in. And it's not that I was against Sheryl Sandberg and how she did it. Frankly, I used all the privilege I had to get to the top, I was the youngest vice president of a big corporation, and it worked for me. I would have been folly not to use all of that. She would have been folly not to use all of that. I mean, I had a few less zeros behind my name. But when I got to the top, I looked around and I was like, okay, I made it. But to the top of what? Is this really where I want to be? I looked at my clients across the table and I thought, if I want to change the world and they want to change the world, aren't we on the same side of the table? But the truth is we weren't, because in between us was the profit and loss statement of my company. And that was the moment where I had this big Jerry Maguire, moment of rage. I can do this better and different and faster and with more profit and more authenticity and more integrity. And I left and I started my own firm. Because for me, it wasn't about the fastest and most expedient path to the corner office being the only definition of success. It was about, how do I change the world in the way that I want to? That was my definition of success. So my issue with Lean In wasn't how she achieved success, it was how she defined it. That it's this one unflinching, myopic, fastest path and only the corner office, and that's it. You'll know success when you get to the top. And then we all get there and we look around and we go, well, the top of what?
Yeah.
And is this really where I want to be? For me, it wasn't.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's such a great point, because I do think, while we're busy climbing this ladder, we want to make sure it's leaning up against the right wall.
Exactly.
Right. And I think a lot of people, they know what they want to do and they know what would make them happy and they know where their passion is. For you and for people like you, how do you decide and know what will make you happy if you're not clear? Is there anything that people can do in order to find or tap into what their passion is really around? Some people feel vague about that.
Yeah. So there's two things. The first is we have to give ourselves grace to let go of what we thought was the thing that made us happy. When you were 16, 17, 18 years old, somebody said, pick a college, pick a major, pick a trade, pick a path, and you went, okay, great. But here's the problem.
Super quick at that age.
Exactly right. Like you have enough life experience to do that properly.
Not only life experience, you know what you don't have when you're 16, 17, 18, 22, 24 years old? A frontal lobe, like the actual part of your brain that dictates good decision making, logical decision making. So we're asked to come up with a decision that's going to impact the rest of our lives when we literally do not have the capacity to make a good one. So number one, you don't know. You don't know, what's going to make you happy, and that's going to change throughout your life. So we have to give ourselves the grace that the person we were at 20 and 30 and 35 and 40 and 50 is going to continue to change, as well as the world around us is going to change. And how do you do that when you're sitting in a job and you're not quite sure what your passion's going to be? You do what my teenagers call the side quest. So I don't know if you're a video game player, I wasn't, but I learned this notion of the side quest is, if the main quest is to go to the castle, slay the dragon, save the princess, but your friends are still busy doing dishes, so they haven't been able to sign online, and you're waiting around to play, what do? You're a farmer. So you till your wheat, you take it to the market, you sell it for money. With the money, you buy the horse and the potions and the sword, so that when your friends finally finish the dishes, you can go. So your side quests are watching shows like this, reading books like mine, watching TED Talks, having informational interviews, joining clubs, getting involved in activities on the side, to see what you like, to see what's interesting, so that when you are ready, when your kids are grown, when you've paid off that debt, whatever the things are that you're waiting, that are stopping you from going right now, you're ready to go on that main quest, go to the castle, slay the dragon, save the princess.
Hold that thought. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on EverTalk Live. That is so great. Welcome back to EverTalk Live. We are here with bestselling author Laura Guzner-Adding, and I'm very curious, we were just mentioning side quests before the break. What side quests did you take in your personal life that's helped you with this main quest to be where you are now?
Oh, so my side quest is actually a little weird. I discovered that I was an athlete 10 years ago.
Really?
As I was turning 39,
Wow.
I literally ran the very first mile of my entire life. Wow. And I learned about myself in running that mile that I have this incredible competitiveness inside of me. I'm not competitive with anyone else. I just want to beat the me from yesterday.
Yeah.
And what I realized in becoming an athlete and then, becoming a rower and a marathon runner and endurance athlete is that I actually am this, I'm a serial entrepreneur. And the same competitiveness that I brought to the athleticism was what I ended up bringing into building businesses and writing the book. I'm insatiably hungry for the new goal, the new puzzle. And so for me, the side quest was figuring out that what drove me, while I want to help change the world and I want to affect people's lives, it was really continuing to want to find new challenges for myself.
That's fantastic, boy. Yeah, so once you discovered this, what challenge did you pursue immediately? Was there one that right after that you were like, oh, okay, this is the thing I'm going to do next?
Oh, well, then I decided it was time to sell my business.
Really?
I had left the big firm. I'd started my own company. I ran it for 10 years. We grew at 100% every single year. And so my job as CEO, if you're the CEO of a company, your job is to be 18 to 24 months ahead of the market, right? Figuring out what the solutions are for your clients before they even realize they've got the problems. Right. But your team, if they're really good, if they're firing on all cylinders, they're focused on today, this week, this month.
Yeah.
And the better I got at my job and the better they got at their job, the further apart we were. And what I realized at the 10-year mark is that I wanted to continue to grow and innovate and change. And they were like, can we just take the car out on the road and see how fast we can drive? Like, enough of it. You're building the homeroomobile. Like, stop. Like, you're making us crazy. But I was so driven by, I've run a mile, I can do a 5K. I've done a 5K, I can do a 10K, half marathon, marathon, that I wanted to do this in the business also. And I realized that what I needed to do was come up with an exit strategy, sell the business to my people, and completely reinvent myself, having no idea what I was going to do next. But because I needed the puzzle. I figured out that that was the thing that gave me purpose. That was my gravitational force, was solving the next big problem.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So what is next for you?
Well, so, I've been doing a book tour for this whole year. I'm speaking in front of thousands of people at, big conferences and events, and it's super fun. But I'm now fascinated by this question of wonder hell. So Wonder Hell is what I want to write for the next book. So sneak preview, right?
Wonder I promised you that one's not taken.
Yeah. So here you go. Well, I just trademarked it actually. So now I know that it's not. Okay. So those moments when you've done something and you're suddenly successful, and you're like, I didn't realize it could be this successful, but wow, it's bigger than I thought. I'm bigger than I thought. I better do something with it. I'm also so tired. I'm exhausted. It's wonderful, and it's hell. It's wonder hell. But that's the space where the burden of potential walks in and unpacks itself and goes, what are you going to do with this, right? Are you going to live into it? And there's the you before and the you after. And you cannot unknow your bigger potential. And I want to write about those moments and what people have done to thrive in those moments.
Please do. I need to read it immediately. Right now, I'm living in wonder hell.
Excellent. Maybe I should interview you. I'll interview you for it. It would be great.
Please do. Please tell us where we can find and follow you, and of course, get your books.
Yeah, so all my friends call me LGO, so you can find me at Hey LGO across all social channels. And the book is on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, anywhere fine books are sold.
Thank you so much for your time. We so appreciate you.
Absolutely.
And welcome back, Rob.
Thank you.
We will be back tomorrow morning live at 9 a.m. for Happiness in Hollywood. Until then, of course, watch all our episodes on EverTalk TV, available on Apple TV and Roku.
That's right. Thanks for tuning in. Check out the book. Hey, LGO. Have a great day on purpose.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.